Hi guys. Today I am documenting my first questionnaire, which is an important questionnaire because I give it to myself every night when I take the drugs, which is, am I sane or insane? How much of the antipsychotic should I be on right now? And so my first question in this is, did you consult social media before this questionnaire? The thing about social media is that on it, people tell me nice things. And so nice things put us in a good mood. Nice things equal love and radical acceptance. Okay. Question 2. How was your day? My day was tumultuous. It was mostly good until I came home, where I was confronted by 2 people. Let's just talk about the whole day in its parts. So I'm gonna list 9 things about my day because I love the power of 9, because it's helped us before and it'll help us again. Okay. In other words, today was a really good friend of mine's birthday, and so I started out the day feeling really good. So let's talk about hours of the day. Maybe that'll help delineate how the day went. Or how about 9 things that I did? So I started the day off by running the dishwasher, which made me feel good. So that's a +1. I cleaned the living room and all that other stuff too, but not in a very intensive way. But I call it a gold star. I ran the dishwasher. So I'm going to put a little star, and we'll see how many stars I accumulated today. That's a really good way to do it. Okay, so I left the house. And that shouldn't get a gold star because that's a non-event. I leave the house every day. So I left the house to go to my favorite bookstore. So I went to Elliott Bay Bookstore. And so that is also a smiley face, a +1, a gold star. And so while I was there, I ran into an old friend, made 2 new friends or connections, got a free sandwich, got a free balloon, bought a book, made a drawing, dated it, signed it, and addressed it, which is a huge accomplishment in my life. Wore a dress that I recently bought, got a lot of pins on my lapel, or sorry, my jacket, my messenger bag, gave some away, which made me feel awesome. So I would say overall it was like a 9 experience where I had 9 great things happen. So let's just put a smiley face +9 and then a star, because it all happened within the course of 5 hours. And so anything that happens in the course of 5 hours is... Oh right, I also fulfilled an obligation, saw my friend Graham, shout out to Graham, briefly, but he gave me a hug, and that was great because I really love hugs and all that stuff. So I just wanted to make clear that I received 3 hugs and 1 high five while at Elliott Bay Bookstore today. That made me feel really special, even though it's not my birthday. Let's see, what else is new? Number 4, went to Mike's house. Mike's house was also awesome because I got to reheat my sandwich, and I experienced massage therapy, talk therapy, wine therapy, and essentially got my code validated. He says that I'm operating within normal parameters for the human experience, and he's an old white guy, so he kind of knows what the mainstream idea of the human experience is, and he said that I'm doing it. So let's just make that a +7 and a little star. From there I went with my friend Eric, and we did a photo shoot in the woods. And if you've all seen my social media, I really love taking pictures of myself because I'm my favorite person and I'm very interesting to look at. So that was cool. It was really nice because he was essentially telling me about how art works, and he's a drawing painting major from UW, so that was good because I feel like I'm alone when I talk about art, because none of my closer friends do art in the same way. They don't understand art theory or what it means to be an artist, quote unquote, for a living or even as an occupation or a label, and so that was helpful. And he got back some comic books that he lent me that I wasn't using, and so I also consider that a highly successful interaction. So Eric plus photos equals it made me feel just as good as the massage therapy and talk therapy, so I'm going to call that art therapy. So that's +7 as well, and then I'm going to put a star next to it. And so I had a very good day up until that point because someone essentially drove me home, and I love being driven home because it means that I don't have to drive, and I don't have to park, and I don't have to think about transportation at all, which is kind of a mess. And I was walking most of the day. Well, I walked from Elliott Bay Bookstore to Mike's house in Queen Anne, so being driven is like being taken care of. It just feels amazing. So that's another +7. Alright, so when I got home, I was making jokes with the housemates. And so making jokes with housemates is one of my favorite things because it means that I get to feel like I belong at home. And that's something that really is really important to me. And so I'm going to go ahead and say +3. I made like 3 good jokes where they were laughing and having fun, and that was great. But then I made a joke about gender, and it's not okay in this house. And it was a bad joke because I thought, what is the worst thing I can say in this situation? And I said it because I thought it might be funny, but it was a wound that was too real to make fun of. So making fun of wounds equals -1. And so I have to do a minus star or a demerit, as in you can't make fun of people that are trying really hard to do something because you do it so naturally. And gender is tricky because everybody's born with a gender, and I experience no gender dysphoria whatsoever. And that's hard because anybody who experiences gender dysphoria goes through something that I do not understand, and I will never understand it unless I develop it late in life. And even then, developing it late in life is not the same thing because you haven't had kids in school bully you because you were one thing and you thought you were another. I've never been bullied in school, and so I have to rule out that possibility that I'll ever understand anybody who's been bullied in school. And so, no more bullying jokes. No more bullying jokes. I'm writing everything down so I can remember tomorrow when I take this questionnaire again. Okay. That was tough because it developed into a talk therapy with Aubrey. And Aubrey is kind of like my stepfather in the fact that we don't see the world in the same way at all. And so that was really helpful for me to understand what it's like to talk to people and not really understand how to finish the conversation that started out so well, but then things got really real. For example, we talked about my daddy issues and my mommy issues and my baby issues, because today I discovered that I have baby issues. What it means is that I'm the last of something in my family, and we'll never know what it was like after that, because I'm the last one. Being the last one is a unique position because, yeah, there's no more chances, and there's a little bit of pressure being the baby, because if I screw up, it means that I blew the one last chance that my family line had at being relevant in this crazy climate that we call the ecosystem in which I live in, and that's tough. But essentially, Aubrey said that there was something in the way that my eyes looked that was different than when she first met me. She said, "You've changed." And I don't think she really liked what she saw in my eyes, because it's essentially like a social contract where she signed up to be with the old me and she somehow wound up with a new me, and I've had to accept that I'm not the same person that I was a year ago, and I'm not the same person I was yesterday, and people are experiencing emotional whiplash. What that means is they're not ready for me to leave and be a new thing, and I'm trying to tell them that I change all the time, but I change faster now because I can't unsee what I've seen, and I have to grow from who I am into who I'm going to become. And so that was heartbreaking for me, because I take a lot of pride in being who I am, and essentially being told, "You're still you, but you're not you," is the most haunting thing a person can say to you, because it means that something happened that was not in your control. Something happened to me that was not in my control. I became the woman that I am, and I'm not the little girl that I was when she met me. And people are thinking 25 is a little late, right? Where for me is 25 is something that I've always thought about, because in neuroscience, your brain doesn't fully operate until you're 25. What that means is when you're 25, you begin to make more connections and see things differently, because your brain's firing on all cylinders. I read about this in a book, something about, well, I can go back and find it for you, but I've had a hard time remembering things lately because I've been putting together the pieces of my new life, which is that I can admit now that my brain broke at some point recently. And I mean that simply is that I no longer had control over who or what or how it was going, and maybe I never did, but I saw the pieces clearly and they were on the floor. I was in the ward, and I decided that, the psych ward, and I was deciding that I needed to pick myself up from who I was into who I am going to become. So I created 9 gods, and they've helped me just understand what religion does and how it helps people. It's an opiate. I don't know what olanzapine does, but I'm guessing it's some kind of opiate. And I would rather figure this out for myself than have a drug do it for me, because I'm not ready to take medication, because that was the first resort, and I think it should be the last resort. And so, number 9 is making this video. Is that I think people are going to understand me more if I document myself over time. So that means that I consent to making this video, and I would like to continue making videos that help people see who I am becoming and how I use self-reflective methods to get there. Okay, so self-reflection is really important to me, and it's always been important. And since the concept of selfie has become so popular, I've decided to do it better and make a video log, which is a lot more intuitive and helpful for psychological reasons as well as experiential reasons. And so I'm going to go ahead and give that a +1, as in it's just a thing. It's just a thing that I'm doing because it helps me and it helps other people. And so helping people is really good. So today I decided that I wanted to be a massage therapist because essentially I don't help people by fucking up their mind chemistry anymore. Because mind chemistry is a delicate balance, and I'd rather cure people of simple ailments like tension in their body, which they carry with them without even realizing. And that's why jokes are funny, is that cutting the tension is medicine. Because essentially I'm wound up and I don't know how to relieve myself without being some lewd fool. And so I have to be better than that. And so being a massage therapist seems like a really great option because people will pay me money to help them in a way where I can be who I am without disturbing their peace. And I don't want to disturb anyone's peace because, quite frankly, there's enough turmoil in this world that I don't need to contribute to it. And we all like money because I have to pay my mom back somehow. Because when I can pay her back, it means that I'm an adult and I'm not a kid that takes from her mommy money that she earned and she should spend however she wants because I love her. And money is a shortcut to love because sometimes you don't know what to get people and money is easy, but thinking is hard. And that's why I have a hard time with gifts, is that I can tell that they just spent money on it. They didn't really think about who I am. And that's why people who have helped me through this process are cognitive reasoners who have decided that the best thing they can do is sit back and let me figure it out for myself. And the worst people who have been involved in this process are people that are unsure of who they are in my process, what roles they take. The truth is, you don't get a say in my process. It is mine. And you can just help me or stay out of the way. And this is an exception. I've had a teddy bear, and his name is redacted for his own protection. But he has helped me through this because he knows what it's like to suffer from loneliness, and knowing that he's out there and he's probably watching this video makes me happy because it means that I'm not alone and I don't need to suffer alone. And that's a beautiful thought. Okay, so the human animal reacts mostly to rejection, failure, and loneliness. And I'm crying right now because I experienced rejection from my housemates. They rejected my theories, and they said, I am done hanging out with you because of time constraints, which is normal, because people have time constraints. But it still hurts because I feel like they didn't understand where I was coming from in the same way that the people at Elliott Bay Bookstore did, and that's tough. So it's a combination of time constraints and mental limitations. And I'm not saying that to be diminutive. I'm saying that simply because they are younger than me. And I mean that emotionally, as in they haven't developed their persona as long as I have. And that stuff is hard because you have to choose from all the pretty stones that this one is the prettiest stone of them all. And especially when you have such a wide variety to choose from. So there's that. And I mean pretty stones as in different things you can wear on your face or wear within. And so that's what makeup does. It essentially, you choose to wear it on your face even if you don't need it. I don't wear makeup because it takes too much time and I don't feel like I need it. And that's where they use makeup a little differently than I do. It's more to help express who they are. And that's what the face paint has been for me, is expressing who I am. I'm trying to keep these things under 30 minutes, like an episode of Boy Meets World. So I have 9 minutes left to tell you about why I'm not going to take the medication. So medication essentially ruins my brain chemistry, and I think my brain chemistry is awesome because I'm figuring out real true stuff that I've never figured out before. And it's because I'm becoming a young woman, and I would like to have my autonomy respected in this fashion because I've been a child for most of my life, and I'm ready to take the leap and be at the age of real consent where I know what I have and what I'm gonna lose if I let somebody violate me in a way that seems unnatural, but in fact it's a very natural process. And having Dimitri gone has been clarifying and horrifying, but mostly clarifying, as in, what am I without my significant other, and what I would be if I had to decide that my significant other was not who I would like to be with right now, which is a scary thought for anybody who is married, engaged, and single. This is a rational thought that everybody has where they question who they are with. And it's hard for me because I've broken up with him so many times that it seems like a cruel joke that I keep doing it. But I do it because I feel things very passionately and very strongly. That's what makes me a great artist, but a terrible friend. Whatever, friends are friends, but lovers are different because you treat your lovers differently than you treat your friends. And that's the cold reality of it, is that people that literally complete you are your complement. They're not your opposite, and they're not your friend. They are people that are something that you lack, and when you are with them, you create a new entity that is beautiful, multifaceted, and very complex. And that's why when you ruin a marriage, it's hard, because you ruin a home that is defined by two people. And I have not ruined any marriages, but I definitely can empathize with the idea of somebody messing with mine, and I find that terrifying, and I don't want anyone to experience terror on my account because I'm a dove. I've never wanted anyone to feel suffering. And it's tough when you're a comedian because essentially you make fun of people, and people need to take themselves either less seriously or more seriously, but the uncanny valley of half serious just doesn't cut it for people. And so when jokes aren't funny, that's when you're half serious, is you're not committing to the joke, enough to where people feel comfortable and they can relax because they know you're joking. And that's the uncanny valley of art, is that it's easy to put something in comedy or tragedy. And when it's a combination, you're just moved and you're not ready for it because you don't understand it all the time. And it's what I've been going through. I'm just moved by people and things, and it makes me cry, but it also makes me laugh because it's a ridiculous juxtaposition of true and false in the same sentence sometimes, in the same thought. It's just hysterical, and that's a bit of hysteria too. I've been experiencing bouts of hysteria that people have categorized as a thing called mania, and it's real. I am manic, but I'm not bipolar, and I mean that in the simplest sense, as in I've never taken attempts at killing myself ever. I think of body modification as a playful thing, and when it's done seriously, that's a scary line that you toe, because you essentially say to yourself, do you know what permanence is? Okay, let's go for it. And I'm not ready to take the leap, and I don't think I ever will be, because as much as I like to go for it, I don't like to suffer the consequences of a permanent thing, because it means that I can't play with it anymore. It becomes stable. And if mental stability means that I can't play with it anymore, then I would like to reject the notion of medication, because essentially it means I can't play with drugs anymore. And I would like to continue to play with drugs because it's an experiment, and I understand what's at risk when I say no more experimenting, time to buckle down and stick to a thing. And people have been telling me that my whole life. And I'm saying, what about my commitment to play? I've already made a commitment to play, that I want to play as long as possible because I'm the baby. And I can play longer than anybody because I have a stamina and a playful spirit. And I'm ready to fight for what I believe in, to the point where it seems like it's not play. But I decided a long time ago that I have a game that I'm playing, and I'm gonna win it. And let me tell you something that one of my friends said to me today. You're winning at the game of losing it. And I find that incredibly helpful, because it means that it's still a game and we're having fun. And that's the idea of life, happiness, and the pursuit of happiness is, I'm still pursuing happiness in an analog way, which is there's a sliding scale of what I think is normal, and I think that this is normal for me right now because I'm going through a lot of changes. I'm becoming a woman. My dad is slowly dying. No offense, Dad, but we're all getting older, and you're a lot older than me, so let's just face that we're all dying, and some of us are closer to the end than the middle. No offense. None taken. And so, I'm moving, and my significant other has a new job that he's already started, and he left me behind to pick up pieces of our old life together. That includes Aubrey and Melanie, who are our housemates, and who we love and treasure forever. And a shout out goes to them whether they like it or not. And I'm sorry if you didn't consent to this video. I've already said your names, and this is a very personal video, and I intend it to be for other people to help me. That means that I have to share a little information. I probably should have used code names, and I didn't, but I'm not using last names, so that's cool. And so, with everything going on in my life, I decided that tonight I am not going to take the medication, at least not all of it. I would like to take the Ativan because it'll help me sleep, but I'm only going to take it if I need it after I go to bed and try to sleep. and then if I wake up and if I'm wakeful, then I will take it and it will help me sleep. But there are some things that I would like to do as a checklist before I take the Ativan, and I'm going to tell you what those things are. Drink water. Eat a late night snack. I know that's not sustainable because it causes weight gain, and I would like to call that optional. So, water is not optional. Late night snack, optional. Drawing, let's just say not optional, because everyone could use a little more drawing. And for Ativan, if I need it, so that is optional. As in, I can't be addicted to sleeping pills because that's just not part of the plan. And 5, occupational therapy, is that every day I decide what is my occupation gonna be. And today I'm saying massage therapist. And we'll see how that changes over time, because I've been going through occupations like they're candy. I first thought I would be an art therapist because I wanted to help people through art, and then I realized that art is more complicated and therapy is more complicated. So I thought I'd rule out therapy and be a brainstorm buddy. And what that means is that I help people with their ideas, and ideas are not people, which means that I can talk about whatever ideas I want and no one can stop me. And lately I've been thinking a lot about comedy because I take a lot of pleasure in making people laugh. But there's really no money in that. I was thinking about musician because I want to sing sad songs to people and help them get through hard times. And sometimes we sing the blues when no one's looking. And it hurts, but it hurts less when people are singing it with us. And so I'm going to work on that stuff too. But right now, massage therapist feels right because I could use a massage, and I know a lot of people who can, and that's called job security. Is that as long as we have bodies, people are going to want to pay me for my hands, and I'm okay with that because prostitution's wrong, but massage therapy is not. And there's a lot of interesting issues about legality and why that is, but for right now, this is the best legal option that I feel like I have, where I can help people through a very important therapy that is never underexplored. Like, people can learn more about massage therapy every time they touch another human being, even just for a second, because it releases all these kinds of endorphins, and endorphins make you happy and less likely to kill people. And that's just the reality of the situation, is that I want to increase the peace and share the love, and I have a lot of love within me, and I'm ready to give back. And so love is my anti-drug. And I'm going to do this every day until I figure out what medication is for and how I can use it to help me in my daily life. Anyways, this is 33 minutes, almost 34. Yep, 34 just now. And thank you for listening.